Hello and welcome to the What's the Story podcast. I'm Jarlath Kyan.
And I'm Victoria Houston. Each week we'll be focusing on the stories that matter to you. Stories about the people and places that make Tyrone so special.
The What's the Story podcast is brought to you by the Northwest News Group, who also print our much-loved newspapers, the Ulster Herald, Strabane Chronicle and the Tyrone Herald. Enjoy the show.
All three of us saw that this was a school in a great community that shouldn't be left to die. Other places, locally and beyond, the schools died, and once the schools died, that's the hub of the community gone.
30 years ago, the future for a small primary school in the Tyrone village looked bleak. There were only 50 pupils at McClintock Primary School in Seskinore, and the school had been earmarked for closure. However, the staff and local community were determined to keep it open, and their hard work certainly paid off. Today, the school has more than 100 pupils and recently celebrated their 125th anniversary of its opening. My name is Cam Wigan, and I went along to the celebrations to hear the school's remarkable story. First up, I spoke with Principal Sam Dennison, who has led the revival of the school from its dark days 30 years ago.
I started Callum back here in 1995. There were just over 50 pupils at the school, and I was employed, first of all, to cover a maternity leave, P1-2 maternity leave. So I was one of the very few male teachers in Northern Ireland at that time that actually was teaching what we would call now the foundation stage. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to college for a year. And then I applied for the P3, 4, 5 position, and I was reemployed then. First of all, for the first year was a temporary full-time job, and then after 1 year, then I was given a permanent contract. So I've been here ever since.
Was this the first school you worked in?
No, I came out of college. After spending 7 years at university doing various degrees from bachelor's degrees right up to master's level. And I spent my first year out going around and subbing, and I think that was a fantastic experience. I was subbing in special schools, in post-primary schools, and in a wide range of small, medium and large primary schools. And then out of that, then I applied then here to come back here for the P3, 4, 5 position.
Where are you from? Are you from?
I'm from Tyrone. I was born in Birmingham in England. My parents went over in the 60s as economic migrants, and then they returned here in 1977. I went to Langfield Primary School in Tyrone, and then after that I spent 6 years then at Castlederrick High School, and then I did my A-levels at what we would call at those days the Tech, Omagh College of Further Education. And then I went off to university then, and I spent 7 years doing a variety of courses in a variety of countries, and ended up doing a PGCE, which is the postgraduate certificate in education, which then allowed me then to teach in primary schools.
So I mean, whenever you came here, things weren't looking well, especially at a time where rural schools were really getting a crunch.
Yeah, it was tough times. Like I said, you're only talking slightly over 50 pupils were in the school. The school was earmarked for closure, but we had a very inspirational principal at that time, Libby Robinson, and she really put this school on the map. And we only had 3 teachers to start with. Now, you're talking now currently, we have 8 teachers now in the school that are employed. So times were looking bad originally. But like I said, with the inspirational leadership of the Board of Governors at that time, and like I said, the principal at that time, we basically then, we moved forwards, progressed. And then when I took over now, this is my 20th year as principal, I just continued that good work. She had did a sort of teaching practice in England, so she brought different ways with her. She had Mrs. Forbes, Mavis Forbes, or she was Mavis Wilshire at the time, who was just recently out of college, and myself, who was just fresh out of college as well. So we were the 3 teachers at the time, and I suppose all 3 of us were young, enthusiastic, had current teaching methods. We all 3 of us saw that this was a school in a great community that shouldn't be left to die. Other places locally and beyond, the schools died, and once the schools died, that's the hub of the community gone. But like I said, the governors, the principal and the teaching staff at that time said the school was going to get better. And like I said, any opportunities we got to enhance the school, enhance the provision of education for our pupils, we didn't stop at it. So in a lot of ways, we're probably state-of-the-art, became a state-of-the-art methods, and the school has grown and grown ever since.
The school's a very much big focus on the community. As the principal, do you see much interaction between the community and the school? How close really is it?
Oh, absolutely. We have great relations with the local community. We see ourselves as an integral part of the community. We have grandparent days where the grandparents are brought into the school. We have very good connections with the local churches, with other schools in the area as well. So we're bringing in the whole community. Seskinore is a small place. It doesn't have many businesses. But we reach out, and I know they're very good to us, and connecting with them has been fantastic for growing the school, because a school that's growing will also help a community to grow as well. One of the things I think that we're really particularly good at is our achievement. Our educational outcomes are absolutely fantastic. We also then, our pastoral care for all our pupils is well known throughout the community, and also then for our special educational needs pupils, our provision for them I think is second to none as well. So we're really kind of we're touching all the community there, and everybody that is in the locality. We see ourselves not as a controlled school where only people from the Protestant background can come to us. We see ourselves as a school where the locals can come to us, the local community. So we see ourselves, even though we're not integrated by name, the ethos of our school and the leadership of myself and my governors is this is the school for the community.
How important is events like today?
Yeah.
For not only the school, but for the community as well.
So pivotal. I mean, my heart is just jumping for joy at the minute. You've seen the likes of 97-year-old Jim Riddle, who remembers of what the school was like in the 1930s. You can see former chairpersons of the Board of Governors. I can recall off the top of my head 3 of them were here today, and it was fantastic to see them here. You can see grandparents, you can see pupils that are people from the community that have moved away, have moved back, and this is the opportunity for them to come back into the school, tell the story of what it was like for them here. I know some of them have already booked appointments with me to come in with photographs and to tell me about their life, and they've got photographs, and I know one gentleman has actually donated me photographs already. I have them here beside me, and he's coming in at 3:30 today. Other ones said they're going to let me have my half-term break, and then they're going to come back. But it just shows you they want to tell that story. This is education for them has been, so important. They want to actually, give something back and share what their experiences were.
It almost sounds like the legacy is kind of something that people remember, and that the past pupils keep coming back here because they enjoyed it so much.
Exactly, and it's even refreshing seeing the pupils that only left us 2 and 3 years ago. As well as the ones that have left 10, 20, 50, 60, 70 years ago. But they were all here today. Mm-hmm. They're all here today. And I think, isn't it brilliant? Isn't it fantastic that they feel that they can come back to their old school? Obviously, to me, that suggests that they have fond memories of the school, and that it's very much part of their fabric, part of their story, part of their history. So it's great. I only wish there was 4 or 5 of me today, that I could actually share myself out, because there were so many there that I wanted to talk to today. Yeah. And it was so difficult, because being part of this village for the last 30 plus years has made me, I feel like I'm one of the Seskinoreans, so to speak.
Adopted by the Seskinoreans.
Exactly. And happy. Hopefully they would adopt me, but happy to be here.
Yeah. I suppose like you're doing quite well, like especially after COVID, like, and sort of talking about budgets in the Department of Education, like for rural school. Like how would you see yourself, as a rural school?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of rural schools, Callum, because rural schools, like I say, they're the hub of the community, and a rural school, I mean, our P7s know every single child in the school. We have the playground buddy system where they match up with the P1s, they read with them, they look after them in the playground, they basically get to know them very well. So, I mean, we might be only a school of 119, but every single pupil is valued, is absolutely valued. And like I say, you have that teamwork. I come very much from a sporting football background, as you can see around the walls. And I always believe firmly in the teamwork ethic. And I mean, our pupils are Team McClintock, whether in P1, P7, and the preschool is beside us here. They're very much part of our school fabric as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the leader, Belinda Moffat, is part of the school workforce as well. She's our lunchtime supervisor. She coordinates the breakfast club and the after school club. So I mean, when we're talking about branching out, even though the preschool is separate from us, that's linking in with the community as well, because most of those children come into us as well in P1. I can't ask for better parents. I mean, I have a fantastic board of governors here, and some of those are current parents, past parents, but our current parents, and you're numbering there 160 to 170 parents. Fantastic. You saw today, Callum, how many of them turned out today. You could feel the buzz. The tea and the biscuits and all the food today, and all the preparations for the refreshments was done by our parents support group, wholly made up of our current set of parents. And they raise, on average, over the last number of years, £78,000 a year for school. Really? Yeah. For a school of 119 pupils this year, £78,000 they raise. Yeah, crazy amount. I mean, so rural schools, well, maybe a rural school, important, but we're certainly keeping up with our, bigger neighbours,
Yeah.
So I'm a very strong advocate. With myself being a teaching principal, it's a difficult job because you're wearing many different hats, not just a bowler hat like today. But actually teaching is what brought me into education. So I'm still in touch with what's going on in the classroom because I'm teaching. I teach nearly half the week in the classroom. So I get to know the pupils very well. And along with my excellent staff, and you have to put in this excellent staff, and that's classroom assistants, supervisors, teachers, our cleaner, of course. You would notice as well, our school is looking spick and span. That's because, I mean, our staff are particularly, the definitely A-star pupils, or A-star standards, should I say. So parents are very important. And some of our staff are former parents, and the fact that they want to come back to this school to work says it all, doesn't it?
For being like a teacher and a principal like over these years, have you seen much of a change in, I suppose, teaching styles and like how to adapt with trends of younger people, especially in the digital age?
Absolutely. I was going to say the biggest change since I come into McClintock 30 years ago was technology. I remember when I got the permanent position here, I think it was 1997, I brought in my own personal computer, Packard Bell computer that I purchased for, I think it was £1,500. We had no computers in the school anywhere at that time. I brought my computer in and I actually started to kind of like feed the curiosity of the pupils. You look at now, we have technologies in every classroom, is everywhere. I mean, AI is the big thing at the minute. So, I mean, it's keeping up. I mean, I'm fortunate my staff are very much at the cutting edge of teaching and teaching provision, and they're keeping up to date with the latest teaching methods. But the biggest thing in the last 30 years is definitely has to be technology. For the pupils, research for the pupils, digital skills, for helping pupils with special needs, for teaching lessons with interactive whiteboards, all singing, all dancing that we have in each of the classrooms. teaching methods has totally changed. I mean, if you go back to 1900 when the school was first formed, I mean, night and day, night and day. Our children will get a chance to experience that, not only today, briefly in each of the classrooms, but each of the classes are going to the folk park. We'll be doing lessons at the folk park in the old original school building there.
Yeah.
So we'll go back till 1900 and let the children get a flavour of what it was like pre-digital age.
Very long handle.
Yes, indeed. And very fancy handwriting as well. Not allowed to use the left hand. Corporal punishment being part of the norm. Different times, Callum, different times.
Just talking about times, what's the future for the school?
Future for the school is still bright. I would love, if it was possible, that we could raise the capacity of our school, but unfortunately the powers that be are preventing us from doing that. But that the future of the school is very bright. There has been housing development recently in the village, and there's actually housing being built as we speak as well. So the village is growing, so we have to grow to meet that as well. So the future is certainly good. Not like it was 30 years ago when we were under threat of closure and there was doom and gloom was talked about. The future here, as you can hear the children's voices outside, they're excited. There's a buzz of enthusiasm there. So I'm filled with that. So the future is certainly going to be brilliant, I think, for education in this village for the next 100 years, I hope.
During my visit to McClintock Primary School, I also spoke to Jim Riddle, who at 97 years old is the oldest surviving pupil of the school. Jim attended the school from 1935 to 1943, and he explained to me that things were certainly a lot different back then.
I started school here about in 37 or so.
37? How old would you have been then?
I was born in 1928, so it would have been about 9. No,
Yeah.
I'd have been started school in about 36 or so.
Right, yeah.
And I was here during the war years, when the soldiers were coming through training in Oman. We always got out to see them, and we had a pupil that was a great singer, and they would come from Oma marching in sections, and one section would go through and they were always singing.
Yeah.
He was a great singer, and he would leave the one batch down there going up the Clogher Road, and he'd run and meet the next batch way up, salute the officer that was with them, and marched along with him, and he would sing.
Yeah.
He was a noted singer. The plot of ground down there at the corner where the trees or the sculptures on it there, that was a bit of rough ground, and it was all in trenches. The army had it in trenches, and we'd play out there, and soldiers
Yeah.
and that bit of ground at lunchtime, you know. But one of the highlights of the school was frost and sliding on the street.
Right.
We could slide from just past the chapel gates there. We could slide in the winter time past the length of 2 telegraph poles, or 3, from one pole to 3 telegraph poles, which was 2 lengths that you could slide on the road in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the years was a very, very cold winter, and you would slide, and it would come from all the past scholars would come maybe up to 20 years of age, that sort of age, and they would slide, and we could slide for 300 metres when we got going down on our hunkers.
Yeah.
We used to have a slide on the tower out in front of that house there, but the woman would come out, throw a saucepan of water in the middle of the slide, and that was you finished with sliding that day. But all the schools were painted coffin brown inside there. Bob Bratton would have been the sort of you'd have said the Lord Mayor of Seskinore, where he was in public education very high, and he described them, the schools all painted coffin brown, and he got them changed when I was still at school, and you got them a couple of colours on them. But they were all, paintwork was all coffin brown.
Yeah.
Not very exciting.
No.
When you're in there and see all the colours and creations of things, there's things behind you there and things like that. Encouraging the children to develop their mind and all. Oh, well, the education has changed anyhow.
What kind of stuff were you taught back then? What kind of stuff would you have been doing in class?
You did very little. I was tasked room assistant. The schoolmaster had a stroke, and he had about 2 or 3 years to go till he got his pension. And we had a girl, Hetty McAdoo, she was a teacher, very, very good. And we did well with her. He was off for 6 months or so. He came back then, but he couldn't lift his right arm. I had to do the writing on the board.
Right. Yeah.
I had to do the writing on the board, and we didn't learn very much, I could tell you. If you kept quiet, that was the main thing.
Yeah.
But we had his wife was teacher in the junior end, and she was very, very good and very kind-natured and all with children. But the master was quite happy to use the cane.
Right, yeah. Did you get any slaps?
Oh, I got slaps all right, but not too bad. I couldn't complain now. I couldn't complain. It was few escaped the cane. It would hang on the cupboard door. We were encouraged, keep quiet, make no noise, sit be seen and not heard. Was their motto.
So what did you do after school?
Pardon?
What did you do after school?
Oh, farming.
You just went
all the time. I started farming on my own. I lived down, the road there. If you're going back to home, you pass my house.
Right, yeah.
At a crossroads, about 2.5 miles down there. There was a lot of work. Production of food was number one, You got £10 an acre subsidy for growing potatoes. You got £10 an acre of subsidy for growing flax, for linen.
Yeah.
See, all the webbing of soldiers was linen. And there was massive demands for linen during the war. Oh, well. Work was very laboursome. If you were sinking a foundation for that, it was done with
no machines. Yeah.
But from the end of the war, everything changed, and we moved forward so quickly to mechanisation and using your head instead of your muscles.
So your muscles, yeah.
That was the big change after the war.
Yeah. In later years, did your kids go to this school as well?
They did, yes.
So it was a different time of teaching.
And the grandchildren, a lot of the grandchildren went to this school too.
So, does this school play a big part in Seskinore?
Yes, the school would be the main thing that brings all the people to the village, and if you went to school here, you sort of built up a relationship with the school and the pupils that were in it. Unfortunately, I'm the last of my class. They're all gone years ago. But unusual that I'm about at 90, in my 98th year, you know.
Yeah.
So
You're doing well.
can't complain.